Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for Tea with the Supremes. This is Julie. I'm here with Cassandra, Ebony, and our resident unicorn. And we are just going to introduce ourselves so you guys can get to know us a little. Okay, so Cassandra, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Cassandra. I am from the Midwest. I'm the resident Midwesterner. Originally from the Chicagoland area. I am currently a dual master student, along with my cohorts that are on this podcast with me, and that's in clinical mental health counseling and school counseling. A reason why I chose to go into counseling is I've had a lot of counselors in my life, and that's something that really impacted me. And I think that's what I want to do for young minds as well, is make an impact on our future generation, because as of right now, I really don't think we're going in a great direction. So I can't wait to get this started with you guys.
So y'all are all professional and whatnot, so that's the thing. But yeah, no. This time, girl, I ain't professional at all. But I'm the unicorn, aka Mitra, or whatever. So I too am in the duals program, and I know, right? It was like a scary thing. I contemplated it for like a month. So I finally took that leap. So that's a thing. But counseling has always been my jam. So that's a thing. Ever since I was about 15. And then I got a little deterred when my grandma was like, oh, well, you can't be a good shrink with the shrink and blah, blah, blah. So, well, I'm proving her wrong. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Greetings, all our wonderful listeners. My name is Ebony. I am in the very rural south of our great state. I'm originally from New York, so I'm a transplant, and counseling was not my jam. Counseling was something that was very foreign to me, coming from the world of education and criminal justice. So this is new. I am also in the dual clinical mental health and school counseling, and we're rocking it out.
And I'm Julie. I currently live in the Northeast. I am a mom of 3 and very active and work in technology. However, I decided to pursue a graduate degree in dual counseling like my fellow podcasters because like them, I'm very passionate about counseling. And we actually decided to do this podcast because we met each other through graduate school, through remote schooling. So we haven't had the privilege of meeting each other in person, but we have a lot of interesting, authentic, deep conversations about issues of social justice and things related to mental health. And we all come from very different backgrounds and different areas of the country, different perspectives. So we figured it would be amazing to share our conversations with our listeners, so you guys can see what real conversations sound like from different perspectives. We do not always agree, and that's what makes our conversations interesting. So thank you for joining us. And for our first topic, we thought it'd be helpful for you guys to just get to know us a little bit better. So we actually took personality tests based on the Myers-Briggs personality test to see what our individual personalities are and kind of see what everyone else thinks of how accurate that assessment is. And so you guys can get some introduction into who we are. So Ebony, if you want to go first, what were your results?
Well, cool. Before I give you my results, let's just give it up. Whoop, whoop for the fellow podcasters. I can't get the word out. Yay! Welcome to the world of podcasting.
We're finally doing the damn thing, ladies.
Well, you 3 know. But for everybody who's listening, everybody knows I'm a semi-conspiracy theorist. So I never believe these tests. I never believe these results. However, I must say I can eat my crow and humble pie because, wow, is all I can say. I can't say I agree with everything, but I will leave it for you guys to decide. So my personality type is campaigner, ENFPT. What it boils down to is that I am a bit of a diplomat and I'm a people person, but I'm a loner, which sounds perfectly like me. It makes perfect sense. I only like people for a limited amount of time, and then you can go on and do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same though.
So I will tell you, one of the key things I found was the strengths and weaknesses. It listed me as curious and observant, energetic and enthusiastic, an excellent communicator, knows how to relax, very popular and very friendly. So far, so good. I'm cool with all of those things.
Absolutely.
Now, I have very poor practical skills. And as my cohorts will tell you, that's very true. I've always considered myself the big picture person. I can see the big idea. When we talk about school and what happens, we have an idea of what life after school looks like. But I don't talk about school in the terms of this class, this class, this class, and this class. I can see from A to Z, but it gets lost in B, C, D, E, F, G, and some of those steps will get missed, and I will see the big picture and forget about, oh, yeah, there's some steps in there that need to go. I am the dreamer, and I can see what the end result is supposed to be. But in positions of leadership and authority and management, I've always put people around me that are very detail oriented. The opposite of that is that I am an overthinker. I will overanalyze any and everything because it's just, I am looking for the error. I am looking for the mistake so that I can fix it before it happens, or I can address it so that it's not an error and it's not a mistake, because I don't always do well with errors. I mean, I'm human. We're supposed to make them. And I'm way more accepting of someone else's error than I am of my own. And as many of you have heard in the course of classes and grades and things like that, I give myself, as my favorite thing, give myself no grace when it comes to things like that.
Personally critical, for sure.
I'm very critical. I am very critical of me because I'm very critical of those that are around me. There is a standard that I expect. So I expect me to uphold it first, and then expect those that are around me to uphold it as well. He said I'm highly emotional, and I wasn't really sure about that. But as I get older, maybe I am a little emotional. Possibly I'm a little emotional, as I am the oldest of this bunch. I could be, but there's this gene that happens after you turn 40 that you really don't care. So I really don't care. And I'm independent to a fault. So that was it was surprising. I'm very surprised that I agree with so much of it. And I was very surprised about the romantic relationships. Maybe that explains why I'm single.
What did it say for romantic relationships?
Pretty much that I'm extremely passionate. I'm very giving. It made me nervous at first because it's not to be a people pleaser. That's not who I am. But I am very adamant about giving 1,000% to the person I'm with. I will try everything. Sometimes when I should have let go a long time before, then when I'm done, that's it. There is no more. There's no comeback. There's no chill. There's no understanding. I'm done. I'm a, shoot you the deuces, and that's going to be the end of that. So, and it pretty much covers the same way through friendships and parenthood. I don't think I agree with parenthood as much. Guess I should ask my son that question. It said I would be pretty much the cheerleader to the end, always going to be your hype man. They said the same thing about my friend. So I'm always going to be your hype man. I'm going to cheer for you. I am going to try to draw and pull the best out of the people around me, even if it's to my detriment, because for me, that's part of my success. There is no individual island success. If I succeed, then the people around me succeed. And if I succeed by myself, then what's the point when there's no one else to succeed with you. It said I make a great subordinate.
See, that part suppressed.
Yeah, that is just
Not that I think you wouldn't listen or something, but I feel like you're more comfortable in the dominant role in whatever situation.
I am. Part of me somewhere in my brain says ultimately, if we fail, then failure is on, there is something on my shoulders that I could have done better or I should have done better. And then if we succeed, I'm sure they had a great input, but they wouldn't have succeeded without me either. So it goes both ways. It said I would be a good leader, but I probably would not like to discipline people. But because I am such a great communicator, then I have an ability to kind of talk to people where they are, and I can push that intrinsic motivation for you to do it simply for the value of doing it. It also said I hate micromanagers, which makes perfect sense. And I would not be that micromanager. So I'm kind of, let's go with the flow. Let's get it happening, get it done.
So just to recap your personality, this is what it stands for: extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. From our fellow podcasters, what do you guys think of the validity, the accuracy of that assessment?
I thought it was interesting because, Ebony, you were talking about like your practical skills, and I think we were just having a conversation about this a few weeks ago so you could see the big picture, but a part of our program is a lot of self-reflection and a lot of looking at these different theories. And you even said to us, like, I have difficulties applying these certain theories to my life. For example, our multicultural class, when we were talking about, it was like the different forms of how you've been racist or how you've been prejudiced in your life, or how people have been prejudiced towards you. And you kind of had to pick a model where you fit in, and you had a very difficult time. So I definitely see that difficulty with practical skills, rather than being a big picture type of person, versus being that step by step kind of like myself. So
what's funny is it said that I interact better with people that are like you, the practical, I'm going to do step A, then step B, then step C. She has lists and organizational things. And yeah, those lists can get written and they just going to live there because I'm just not going to do anything with them.
Because maybe that ADHD will kick in and be like, wait. Like, no, sir. Like, it's great to feel like, you're an adult. You got your checklist going and everything. Like, yeah, boy, I got my week organized, girl. Then come Tuesday, you're like, shit, what did I do with that? I don't remember what I did with my list.
Where did I even put the checklist? I don't even remember where I put
it. Mine is usually on my desk. So I'm like, hey, because that's where I write the list, but I never actually remove it, or at least I don't remember removing
it.
Then, that squirrel movie kicks in, and then bam, I don't even know.
Exactly.
I'll be asking my mom, you see my thing?
So, Mitra, what'd you get?
I'm going to throw this in the trash. That's what I'm going to get. But this says I'm a defender, ISFJT.
So ISFJ, introverted, sensing, feeling, judging.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. But go ahead.
All right, what you got?
I didn't say it live. I just said I'm gonna put it in the trash. Like, baby. So it says that I am 89% introverted. Let me tell you, that is the God honest truth. I don't like people at all. Mm-hmm. Even the dogs in here with me is too many people. Then I am 86% turbulent, whatever the hell that is.
I was too. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so then what is it?
We make life more difficult.
Right. That was my assessment.
What did you say?
We make life more difficult than it should be.
I think more turbulent is more difficult on yourself, honestly.
Right. It is.
So let me say this, just because I just looked it up, based on your previous comments. It says the ISFJ, introverted personality, naturally warm and helpful, extremely skilled at detail-oriented tasks, and are effortlessly organized. And based on your previous comment, that does not sound to be accurate.
Baby, no. Oh, you know what? So let me correct that. So making a physical to-do list like a sticky note, girl, that's out the window. But, oops, my handy dandy cell phone. Oh wait, you can't even see it. Whatever. So anyway, my cell phone is what I was trying to hold up. And well, I do have alarms and reminders in my doodad thing. And if you ever get a random text message from me that makes no sense, that is a note. So
you're organized in your world that works for you.
Right. So I guess that would be accurate. And then I am overly helpful to my detriment, actually. It's a little offensive. Because it's like, you know, I'm a Leo Virgo cusp, and I'm just like, it's an inner struggle. Because Leo's just like, let's be savage. Let's flip some tables over. Let's do this. We don't care
I'm
about
a
that.
Scorpio.
Exactly. And then the Virgo's like, no, let's be peaceful and enjoy our time. We can take 5 minutes and help them. It's like, you know what? Sit the fuck down, please. Have several seats, ma'am, because I don't like it. So it's an inner battle. So let's explore some of the strengths. That is supportive and reliable and patient. Girl, I don't know who they thought. Then it says imaginative and observant and enthusiastic, good practical skills, loyal and hardworking. So all but the patient part of that, I'm going to have to agree with that. And then some of the weaknesses are humble and shy. But it's not so much that I'm humble and shy. I'm more observant because it's like, I need to know if I need to interact with you. That's more of the perspective, but a lot of people take that as being...
you intentionally do not engage.
Right. Because I need to know if we need to rock. Like, I don't know. Like I said, even the dogs in here is too many people. So it's just like, yeah, no,
Right.
I need to know if you're okay to rock with or not.
Absolutely.
So that's a thing. And then it's take things too personally. I agree. Because it's like, you know, I give you 100%. I expect 100%, you know, and it's just like some people just don't rock that way. It's offensive, really. And repress their feelings. Well, I agree with that because so many people just don't care. It's like, why waste the energy, you know? Overload themselves. Yeah, I can see that. Reluctant to change? Hell no, I don't like change. Nobody likes change.
I love change.
You know?
You would love change. We're going to hear that when we hear your personality thing. Of course you would. That's why you're the producer.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
I agree with more of yours, Unicorn, than you do. I mean, for you, not for me. I'm not patient.
I was gonna say because you would agree more with hers than yours because that's how you are.
This is true. This is true.
Oh god.
This is true. But Mitra, you are patient. You really are patient from our perspective. The difference is because we've had private conversations. You're more patient. You give other people, and it's the same thing I do. You give other people more grace. Not all of the time, but you will allow patience and for them, but you won't give it to yourself, and you won't allow yourself to have it, especially in the middle of heated situations. Because I understand that Leo thing, because that crown wears heavy sometimes, because you know you want to run the throne, and then you have to deal with the subordinates under there, and that's not always good. But I agree. I also see you flipping over the tables.
Nope.
Yep.
you know, and the people sitting at the table, just let it all fly at the same time.
Mhm.
So, but I think it's more of you than you give yourself credit for.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It sounded pretty good. It sounded
Don't
pretty
even-
accurate to me.
Well, I'm not saying it ain't accurate. I don't like it, but I mean, it's the same results from 2 years ago, so I'm gonna assume it's right. But
So you had the exact same results 2 years ago?
I don't necessarily agree with it.
Wow.
I will say, so I took the test
Yep.
maybe like a year and a half ago, and I have the same results I had then too. But I'm gonna let Cassandra go first because we got the same personality. So go ahead, Cassandra.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm curious the
Uh-huh.
feedback on that too. But go ahead.
So, mine told me that I am an advocate personality. So that's INFJA/INFP.
Mind blown. Wow.
So that means introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging, turbulent. And I think the A also stands for advocate. So I'm kind of a little bit of both. Something I thought that was interesting was the first quote that shows up after you take the test, and it treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them become what they are capable of being. And I think that aligns so much with the type of person, not only the type of person I am, but the type of therapist I'm going to be too. I'm very, change comes from within, and I can help you be that catalyst. I could be the catalyst for change to help you change. So another thing that I thought was really interesting just on the introduction page was the cost of success section. It says at times advocates may focus so intently on their ideals that they don't take care of themselves.
And that had a side conversation on that, and that is
me.
100% true.
That's totally us, 100%. I get very stressed easily, and that's just, it's a weakness. So moving on to the strengths and weaknesses. So that starts, the first one is creative. I am a very creative person. I've always been a creative person. I've been in art classes. I've been, even just in my professional life, I always try to come up with that other option that if plan A doesn't work out, maybe we should try plan B, because I know my plan B will probably work. So very insightful. Advocates typically strive to move past appearances and get to the heart of things. I think that's something that's really important to me, and something that's kind of been instilled in me since I was a kid. My mom always used to tell me, like, I don't care if you get bad grades, but if I get a call from the school saying that you were mean to somebody else or you weren't being kind, then we're going to have some real issues. So that's kind of something I've always tuned into. And I think that's why I'm so empathetic as well, is because I'm always picking up on different people's emotions when I'm talking, not only when I'm talking, when others are talking. Principled people with the advocate personality have deeply held beliefs, and their conviction often shines through when they speak or write about subjects that matter to them. Julie, you humbled me so much when you were like, Cassandra, your lifespan post was on point. I was just like, oh my God. Lifespan is something that's been really interesting to me, and I took a bunch of lifespan classes in my undergrad too. So hearing that kind of just...
Oh, wait a minute. So when I said it, your heart didn't smile? Carry on. Carry on.
Of course my heart... Shut up. You got me in my feels that night, and you caught me at the right moment. So we're very passionate and very altruistic. Going on to weaknesses, so very sensitive to criticism. That is 100% true, not only about myself, but by my dear friend Julie. She's very sensitive to criticism, and not in a bad way where she'll go off and tell the professor or tell somebody. More so just from what I've seen, just kind of vent it out with us and then move forward. Reluctant to open up, that I don't disagree with. You think, Ebony?
One of the big points of this personality type is not that we are incapable or not desiring to open up, but we will not do it unless we're in a situation of trust. You have to earn it. But once we're in like-minded people and people that we really vibe with, then you can get anything out of us. But until we're in that situation, we're not letting anything out. And I think that's...
I believe that wholeheartedly for Cass. However, I think it's still much harder for you. Pointing like they can see me. I think it's still much harder for you, even being in the safe space to share. I think that makes perfect sense for Kat, but I think it's even more extreme for you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that safe space has to be multiplied by 100 before you're ready to share anything other than your first name and the state that you live in.
I'm very surface with most people. Yeah. Which is also one of the things with this personality type is, people like to talk to us. So we will get like strangers telling us really intimate things very quickly. Meanwhile, we don't say anything and don't want to say anything. But we have those kind of conversations all the time, which is weird, but
which I would have thought I would have gotten, because the difference with me is that the same thing, but then I will reciprocate and share. And it's very rare because, again, I have to be in that safe space to share. I would have thought I would have gotten that because people come tell me their life story. Maybe that's why I'm going into counseling. Okay, continue on, Kat. I digress.
So another weakness is perfectionist, which I'm 100% a perfectionist. I think we all have a little bit of perfectionist in us. We all strive to be kind of at the top of our game all the time.
Absolutely.
Can somebody...
As well we should be.
Exactly. Exactly. I see it as a downfall for me, though, because I go and go and go and go and go, and then I like hit my wall, so to say. And like my wall is when I'm kind of just like, oh shit, like, can I really do this? Can I keep going forward?
Yeah, I found it really interesting. I knew Ebony's personality type before we started, but Mitra's too. They're both, the dynamics with our personality type and theirs is they do work very cohesively, and it's a good balance, which doesn't surprise me because we get that kind of dynamic anyways. But now it makes more sense now. It's just reaffirmed through our assessments.
Well, hey, we are amazing, but it's never a fight for dominance with us.
Absolutely.
Because as much as we are, in this, it sounds like Cass and Julie would be laid back in a sense. They're not. Cass maybe, not Julie. Is as aggressive and as dominant as I am. However, it's never a battle of wills with us. It kind of flows, which I guess goes into that personality of being that very effective communicator and meeting people where they are. So you can relinquish and take the background and be okay, and then take the forefront when you need it. It's never a position of, well, what are we going to do? 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 Like, that doesn't work for me. So there's always something, somebody, an idea of something there to filter it through and keep going.
Yeah, mine, and likely Cassandra's too, but my type, the name that it defines, because I'm the INFJA, not the T, that one's not me, but it's assertive advocate. So I'm very much an advocate. The main points are like we think we're destined for something bigger. One of the big things it said is, we want individual success, but we'd rather have communal success and bring everybody up with us. And I know I've said that to you ladies before. I have that core group of people, like Cassandra was talking about, when I truly value what you bring to the table and the conversations and stuff we have. Like, I want you to be just as successful. So that's definitely on point. As far as relationships, the downfalls, like we said, is self-critical for sure, perfectionist, prone to burnout, which I could see because I take on everything and anything for the greater success, as you guys know. One thing I was looking at, because I'm also like a big picture person, and I dream the biggest possibly. And I was looking at the famous advocates or famous people that they assume have this type, and it's Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, and I'm like, yes.
You got good ones. Mine suck. I got like Quentin Tarantino, and although I did get Carrie from Sex and the City, but I mean,
I've never seen. But Quentin Tarantino he's a visionary in his field.
You know, the dude from The Office.
What guy from The Office?
I don't know the dude from The Office, but I got one of the dudes from The Office. I don't want to hear that.
Love The Office. So it depends on who it is.
Hold on, let me see which dude it was, because now I'm going to look and see.
Yeah.
This is
No, I'm
hysterical.
curious because I love
Okay,
The
wait.
Office too,
I
and
got
if it's
Robert
good, I'm
Downey
gonna laugh
Jr.
my ass
That's
off.
not a good thing.
Okay, he has made the most money off of the. He's a very wise businessman. He made significantly more than every other person that was in the Avengers or Iron Man or anything, because he got
That might
money.
be true. One of the things that mine said was that even beyond money, because money is good. I've had it and I haven't had it. I've survived. But one of the things, don't get me wrong, I will spend it. It goes great with me, but it has to go beyond money. So, like, then you give me Robin Williams or Kim Jong-un. What am I gonna do with him?
Okay, I don't know how they determine Kim Jong-un, but Robin Williams is amazing, very empathic, did so much for so many people. So that's motivating. Now, do I see your personality anywhere in those?
See, and here's the problem. You saw all the positives. All I saw was he was depressed and committed suicide. See what I'm saying? Like,
he had was it Parkinson's? I don't know if that's it. I don't want to say the wrong one, but one of the main symptoms is like delusions and that kind of thing.
See that.
So you can't base it off of that. But let me ask you this. So you said Quentin Tarantino,
Russell Brand? Really?
Are there, and this could be a totally another topic, but were there any people who were not white listed as?
Which was another thing that's shocking.
No. Okay.
As you say that, I did. Okay, Will Smith was on there, and I'm not sure if that's a great.
He's done a lot.
He has, but then they got me with Willy Wonka from the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Peter from the Hunger Games. And who was it? Spider-Man.
Oh God.
Phil from Modern Family. Really? And Michael Scott from The Office.
Oh my God.
That's so funny. I'm gonna make memes now.
All right, I'm curious. Okay, because Cass read hers, so I'm just curious. My quote says, "It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for. And if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing, it doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dreams, for the adventure of being alive."
See that? I think is absolutely on point for you.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know that their examples were great, but that I definitely see. One thing, I didn't read the individual quotes, but one part that really stuck out to me for mine, it says, "We have high standards for ourselves and high standards for our friendships. We feel compatible with our friends at a deep level and have a deep desire for authenticity and sincerity, and rarely settle for friendships of convenience." Like, we have very intentional relationships that go beyond, surface level. And I know we were talking about quarantine and how, as bad as COVID has been for so many reasons, like I said, I have enjoyed as an introvert, having very intentional conversations. And we've had so many great conversations because they're intentional with people that I really enjoy having deep conversations with. So that's definitely.
I will say, I don't think we would have become friends had it not been for the restrictions that COVID put on our lives. I think we would have been colleagues because we were intentional. That intentionality comes with positive and negative. So would we have intentionally sought each other out for the benefit of bettering ourselves in our education and our pursuits? Yes. Would we have intentionally sought each other out for the purpose of becoming friends? And I don't think that would have been the case had we had the freedom to move around and do other things and not just be locked into life, pre-COVID, post-COVID. That's how I see the world at this point. So locked into post-COVID life, I think that intentionality it wasn't the genesis of what our friendship should have been or would have been, but it grew into, instead of, okay, let's keep this one in my pocket because you know what, we can study together and we can push each other, which has become the dynamic. It was the foundation of our friendship. It's what happened. Oh, Ebony's doing this. Okay, I can do that times 2. Julie's doing this. Okay, I can do that times 4. All right. And it pushed us to.
That is one thing that I do disagree with about my personality type. Well, it said we prefer collaboration over competition. And I do very much prefer collaboration. However, I am also very competitive and I don't mind the competition. I don't necessarily want to win. Well, that's not the right word. I don't want to win, but I want to do it as a means to mutually strive, but I enjoy the competition. I don't think that part is right for me.
Okay, let's be honest. Let's be 100 right here, right now. You thrive on the competition.
Right.
It is a silent competition. Well, not so silent between you and I at this point. Like it is okay. Oh, you're doing 3 classes? Okay, I'm gonna do 3 too. You what? You made 100? We had a debate last quarter because we both aced the test, but it was your A was higher than my A, and I was oh my God, I didn't make a perfect score. And it pushes us to be better. For me, jealousy is not a bad thing when you do it in its earnest form of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to push you to do better. Right. So do I believe the collaboration? Absolutely. But let's be honest about that whole competitive side. You do it because you want to win. Yeah. We just finished a competition that we are both still grieving that we did not win. So we don't do it for the sake of collaboration. We do it because, I don't know, somewhere deep down we need to be better. I don't know. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want all of us to win, but I do. Winning is very and not. I don't know. I don't want to say not winning because I definitely do want to win, and I'm not a great loser. But I want it to be for a reason. I'm motivated by success and the bigger picture. So absolutely.
I don't think it's like narcissism for you with that competition. It was just you wanted all 3 of you to win so that you could be in that.
Ebony and one of our other peers and myself were in an essay contest for the National American Counseling Association, and we put a lot of time and effort in, and we of course wanted to win, and we didn't place, and we are all kind of bitter about it. But the goal was, we being big picture people want to strive for excellence, and we want to be a big part of not just counseling in our neighborhood, but counseling at a larger, grander level. So that's the beginning of that step, the beginning of that networking. So right after that happened, I said in quotes, I'm still thankful for the experience. And Ebony was like, nah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
we did.
Yeah, we want it to lie. I mean, I want to say, go back to what Cass said. I think there is a bit of narcissism in there, but it's not, I think, for any of us, because we're driven, I'm saying Julie and I, but Cass is not anywhere out of that. Neither is Unicorn. You're listening to 4 very different students who are all holding a 4.0, who just got inducted into the National Counseling Honor Society, and we were pushing for that. And not only were we pushing that individually, we were pushing it collectively, because, and we're holding 4.0s in 2 different master's programs. So we earned it, and it is a bit of narcissism. Don't let me deny it, but we are collectively looking at the big picture. When an opportunity comes up, we are encouraging another to do it. So do we have some narcissistic tendencies? We'll unpack those things later. But the overall big picture is we want everybody. We want to win individually, but we want to win collectively too.
But we also want to lead. We want to lead that victory.
It's not malicious.
I am not a good subordinate, which is why I commented on that earlier.
100%.
Your comment.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, I mean, I can follow directions and I can be a subordinate, but I much prefer to be a leader. Well, one of my, I hate micromanaging as well, but one of my previous managers, because I haven't been in the counseling field. I've always been in tech, and I've always held leadership positions, managerial positions. And one of my managers, who I did not necessarily think was great at management, made a comment to me, which actually rings very true, that he said most people that get promoted to managers manage because they don't want to be managed. They want to be in charge. And that rings true. Granted, if I have strong management, I feel like I'm okay. But I definitely do better when I think that the manager is doing the best that they can.
You're saying when you're not smarter than the manager, and
yes, in a narcissistic way, most scenarios, I feel like I have a better approach.
Absolutely.
That's why I prefer to lead.
So I'm curious. We introduced ourselves and we talked about our personality. Does anybody want to share the story of how we got our name and how we became the Supreme?
Because we're motherfucking amazing.
And the unicorn said it.
Additional explanation?
I think, because we were all kind of connected by one group, but I think all 4 of us kind of always stood out from that one specific group that we were in, and the conversations typically just led to the 4 of us having a conversation. And funny story, I actually love the show American Horror Story. So when I thought of the 4 of us, I thought of us as like the
I've never seen it.
From American Horror Story.
Mita's clapping, so it's got to be
Coven.
I'm a little nervous if the unicorn is clapping. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, so if you watch the Coven series from American Horror Story, that's my personal favorite, because it's just all these badass witches, all these badass
Well, that's a good description of us. Yeah.
And then there's one Supreme.
Mine is the witches part. Y'all know I don't do the witches, but go ahead.
Witch. We're all supreme in our different ways, and that's why I called our group the Supremes, because
it's funny because
bad bitches only.
As introverted as it said you are, the 2 of you are not introverts. Like, I get it in the group setting.
Yeah.
You're reserved.
One of the most common misconceptions about people with our personality is that we're extroverted, because we can very much be dominant, loud. Like, I've always been public speaking. I've always done that kind of dynamic. I can carry conversations, all of those sort of things. But when you put us in like a social situation where we're surrounded by people that don't we don't gravitate to, we're not inspired by. We're not good at small talk. We get like physically exhausted and just hate it. And we're like, just get me out of this situation. But we've been so fortunate to meet you guys and just really be motivated. So like we thrive in this dynamic, at least for me.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's like you said, Julie, like if you put me in a party of people that I don't know who the hell they are, I'm going to leave that party. I'm going to be so mentally drained from even just being in the room with all that conversation. But this intentional conversation that we have with the like-minded people, this is the stuff, like I'll go to bed tonight thinking, wow, I am so happy that I stayed up an hour past my bedtime to be able to talk to you guys. Yes, I'm a 26-year-old with a fucking bedtime. Get over it.
And see, that's funny because it's funny that you have a bedtime, but I understand.
She's the baby of the group.
She is the baby of the group. What I take from that, because I find myself that way. I go through seasons and moods, and sometimes I am that way. And I need to process things and then come back and deal with other things. However, me in that instance of that group, in that room, in that gathering, I am going to find someone to have one of these intentional conversations with. I am going to make the most of that setting. And I think in the setting that we met and how we were extracted from the other students, if you will, was because even in the midst of being introverted, we're all that way. I think that's a personality trait of each of ours, that we are very reserved. And I need to let things play out before I jump in the middle of it and see kind of where you are and where you fall. Every time we said something, even in a general conversation, it became such a profound and powerful something that everyone gravitated to us. And it started dialogues with, you know, each of us. I'm very proud that none of us in our description of ourselves, we said, you know, what we were or whatever the case. We are four very different people, one African American, one unicorn, and two Caucasians. And we had very different backgrounds. And we gravitated for different reasons, but it was because we all did the same thing. We sat back, we let 9 million comments happen, 9 million conversations happen. I'm being dramatic, and then it was that one profound statement that kind of tied everything together. And I think each of us had that moment, and we didn't need to be in the center of the conversation, although it revolved around us. Let's just go ahead and be narcissistic for a moment. It still revolves around us. But it, you know, that ability to sit back and kind of take it in for a moment, is something that I am learning to do more of. And that's something that I'm gaining from, because it's emotionally draining. It's physically draining. It's taxing to be the center of attention. You know, I don't have that many interesting things to say. Well, that's not true. Yes, I do. I don't want to say that many interesting things. I really want to be able to sit down, and I don't want you to want to ask my opinion, but I understand my opinion is valid. So that's what happened. That sounds really narcissistic, doesn't it?
No, but I definitely agree. I mean, yes and no. So my ultimate goal, like I would love to be an advocate for the profession and do speeches and group discussions and webinars and all that, and be in that realm, you know, lead the group, lead the conversation. But in the same point that I was talking about before, like once I'm out of that setting, if you want to come talk to me, that's great, but I want to have an intentional conversation. I don't want to have a how's the weather conversation. I want to have a real, authentic conversation, which is what we do and why I love this group and this dynamic. So now everyone's met us and got to know a little bit about how we get along, how we met each other, what makes us unique. Any final thoughts, ladies?
I'm just so appreciative for you guys. Like, I'm such an introverted person, and being in this setting, you wouldn't know that I'm even in real life, like I'm a very shy person. Me and my fiance met online. We didn't even meet in person. So I really appreciate you guys pulling me out of my shell and challenging me in ways that I never thought I could be challenged. Because not only is this program that we're in making me do a lot of self-reflection, you guys are making me learn and think about different things in different aspects of my life. And I'm just forever grateful for our conversations always.
So again, Cassandra's the baby of our group. She's got us by a few years. I won't say numbers, but she's
Oh, I'll tell mine. I don't care. I'm fine.
Right?
but she's growing up under our wing. So
Final thought. Shockingly, I'm very shocked. I'm normally very quiet. Sometimes. Yes, me.
You quiet?
But I am grateful. My walk has been very different than my 3 co-hosts. But as Cassandra said, this stretches you. This is 2 years of self-work that you haven't done. And when you think you're done, there's always something else and another level and something to unpack. These 3 people have pushed and are continuing to push that level of awareness and awareness of the world around you. It's bigger than your bubble and your issues and your circumstances. So sitting down with them to have honest dialogue and past intellectualizing. Is that a word? Yes. A scenario and bring it to life and make it realistic and to openly see someone else's approach. I debated all through college in my undergrad. And that was the foundation of what debate is. Sit down and hear and come up with an argument. And in this scenario, I can sit down and hear and I don't have to refute it. I don't have to come up with an argument. I just need to be in that moment and understand. To the 3 of you, I am grateful for helping me to see and understand things that I did not see and understand before now.
Well,
Okay,
since
then-
we're all sharing and shit, Jesus, I was just gonna, let it go. Now I don't want to be called a D-bag and whatnot. So, so you guys are amazing, and you give me a sense of belonging, something that I have not had in a very, very long time. So that's why I call you the tribe, because even when I have my squirrel moments, say shit that don't make sense, you just like, yeah, or you like, nah, me, that don't make sense. Like, I appreciate that, because lots of people, they just be like, oh yeah, no, go me, and it's just like, yeah, no, because sometimes I just be talking out my ass, so it's just like, well,
we know.
I need somebody to say, hey, no, we're not doing that today. You know what I mean? Like, so I am happy for that. And then, we're all in the same program. So it's like, when I'm like this close to losing my shit and I'm just like, I need somebody to talk to, like, I can come to you and be like, hey, I need a therapist who's available. I'm about to lose my shit. Somebody talked me off the ledge. You're like, bam, all right, I got you. Somebody comes through, So it's like, that's something that is important to me, even if you're busy, my love language is actually words of affirmation. So just saying, yeah, me, I got you. That's important. But the words of affirmation is my love language. So you guys just saying, hey, me, we support you, good job, you're doing great, all that, the pat on the head type shit, you guys are there for it. And it's just like, that's great, lots of people just say I'm animated or whatever. And it's just like, well, you're not wrong, but I am pretty awesome. So that's the thing. So it's just like,
yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
More than surface.
And it's just like, you guys support all of my nonsense. So it's like, you know, I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Right.
It's
The
our unicorn.
unicorn goddess. How could
We got
not
sentimental
support
at the end of our
Right.
podcast. I mean, it goes without saying, I appreciate you ladies. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while, but didn't know, you know, what was most meaningful. Like I was saying before, I'm a big picture, you know, social justice. I want to improve the world in some way. And I feel like just the dynamic that we have, and we are so incredibly different and so similar, which I think is something that people don't understand, that you can be so different and have common ground. And we have intense conversations about intense topics, you know, full respect and love. And I'm just excited for like our future conversations to see what we get into and see what we learn. And hopefully people get value out of this and are able to grow with us. The biggest thing for me personally is I am very encouraged by people that inspire me to be bigger. And I'm a very high achiever. So it's difficult for me to find people that I find inspiration from. And I find that in you guys. And that means a lot to me, because I need that to keep my fire, to keep me motivated. So
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
So thank you everyone for joining our first podcast. We'd love to hear if you have any of our personality types. Let us know. Let us know if you think, by listening to us, if our assessments are on point.
Absolutely. And take the personality
totally
test
put
and
the
tell
link
us
in
what
the
you
bio.
think.
And we record a new podcast every week. So come back and check us out next week.
Talking to you.